You're watching WYLN TV 35. Now, from the area's leader in live local news, this is WYLN News, the area's #1 source of live local news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. WYLN News starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on WYLN News. I'm Philip Kaufman, filling in for Julia Wiegand. A special handicap-accessible piece of equipment was stolen from a Hazleton City playground earlier this week. A streets department crew discovered that a wheelchair swing platform was taken from Altmiller Playground as they were getting the park ready for the season. The Hazleton Lions Club worked for 2 years to raise funds for the swing, which was installed at Altmiller back in September of 2017. Mayor Jeff Cassett believes that the swing may have been stolen to be sold for scrap, and at this point doesn't know where the city can get the funds to replace it. Hazel Township officials are asking for the public's patience when it comes to garbage collections. Residents have been seeing long delays in garbage pickup over the past several weeks. The reason is that the township's contracted hauler, County Waste, is having difficulty filling positions, especially for drivers. Supervisor Chairman Jim Montone wants residents to know that the township's aware of the issue and is asking people to keep both the recyclables and garbage curbside until the company comes to pick it up. 2 Carbon County prison employees were terminated following an investigation involving an incident with an inmate. Warden Timothy Fritz and Corrections Officer Dexter Sandy were fired on Thursday by commissioners and the County Prison Board. The 2 had been suspended with pay since March 17th. The alleged incident took place on February 7th, where a prisoner was allegedly restrained, pepper sprayed, choked, and punched. Another suspended corrections officer, Gerard Babb, resigned on April 6th before charges were filed. Laura Banta was named by the county as acting warden for the prison in Nescahoning. State police have released the name of a man who died during a crash earlier this week in Luzerne County. 58-year-old Reverend John Baumgartner of Berwick was driving his 2013 Toyota Sienna South on Route 93 Tuesday morning when he traveled off of the road for an unknown reason and struck a traffic sign and 2 large logs. He was later pronounced dead at the scene after sustaining fatal injuries. Governor Tom Wolf signed a bill into law Thursday to help Pennsylvania businesses organize and simplify filing federal and state taxes while eliminating fines and penalties. House Bill 766 will align the annual state corporate tax deadline with the federal tax deadline of May 17, 2021, and give the DCED and DOR the ability to deal with state taxation while the COVID-19 disaster declaration is in effect. The bill specifically amends the Tax Reform Code of 1971 to temporarily disregard the period after April 14th of 2021 and before May 17th, 2021, while calculating interest, penalties, or additional taxes for failure to meet an extended filing deadline. April is National Donate Life Month, and making the decision to become an organ donor can potentially lead to saving a life. The Department of Health and PennDOT are spreading the word that driver's license and ID card holders can easily help someone live a fuller, longer life by registering as an organ donor. The designation can be added for free by selecting Become an Organ Donor in 30 seconds at dmv.pa.gov. Individuals will then receive a card to carry with them to affirm organ donor status until they renew or replace their driver's license or ID. Over 4.9 million Pennsylvanians are registered organ donors, and more than 7,000 Pennsylvanians currently await organ transplants. More information can be found at donatelife-pa.org. State officials are focusing their efforts in an equitable vaccine distribution so that all residents receive their vaccine and keep communities healthy. WYLN's Julie Stefanovich has more on the Racial Equity Subcommittee.
The Wolf administration paid a visit to Seawright Pharmacy in Harrisburg yesterday to discuss the importance of equitable vaccine distributions. Pharmacy partnerships have played a role in getting shots into the arms of those who want one, and the supply of the vaccine is finally catching up with the demand.
We are now at a point where we have supply, and the issue now is how do we make sure that everybody We're not just doing this in terms of the number of shots that we administer, but how equitably we're doing it, how fairly we're doing it, and making sure that everybody is getting access to the vaccine. And that's what Alex and that's what C-Right is doing right here.
The state's COVID-19 task force formed the Racial Equity Subcommittee. It focuses on removing obstacles of equitable vaccine distribution throughout the Commonwealth.
Over this time, we have focused on removing the barriers to equitable vaccination distribution in the Commonwealth, which include language, transportation, technology, childcare, fear and hesitancy, discrimination, and even just finding the time to get the vaccine without getting fired from a job that won't give you time off.
The subcommittee has brought over 100 members representing the communities and stakeholders.
Representing clergy, community advocacy groups, social service organizations, healthcare, and state government, as well as our African American, Latinx, Asian American, Caribbean, Jewish, and Muslim communities, just to name a few.
It is also addressing issues with vaccine hesitancy in diverse communities through education.
Looking ahead in our vaccination program, the department will continue to utilize churches and nonprofit organizations to vaccinate densely populated communities, as well as rural communities. Together, the Department of Health, Governor Wolf's office, and the COVID-19 Legislative Vaccine Task Force are working to ensure an equitable, ethical, and efficient distribution of COVID-19 vaccines into all communities.
State and health officials remind residents that the first step in eliminating COVID-19 is to get their vaccine. Reporting for Wyln News, I'm Julie Stefanovich.
Thanks, Julie. Coming up on Wyln News, another celebrity's looking to throw their hat into the race for California governor. Plus, how it felt to play ball at Mart's Hall. But first, we'll take a look at our 5-day forecast brought to you by the Wyln Weather Kids. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Ezra. I'm 5 years old. It's kind of partly cloudy.
Hey folks, this week on Let's Talk Chiropractic, we're going to have Fran Mar Duran and Dr. Alex and myself. Let's bridge the gap. I don't want Spanish people to be afraid to come to our office, talk about pregnancy and chiropractic and laser. So come and watch the show.
Penn State Hazleton is improving the lives of others, starting in our community.
Providing degrees that meet the needs of the area.
Fueling entrepreneurship and contributing more than $36 million annually to the state's economy.
Researching the health of our local ecosystem on the Susquehanna River.
Together, our impact keeps growing, backed by the strength of 24 campuses and 700,000 alumni.
Wyln programming is online all the time. Visit our website at WYLNTV.com to check out archive shows and a live stream of our broadcasts. And don't forget to visit all of our social media pages for breaking news, weather, and sports. You can also head directly to our YouTube page for all our programming at youtube.com/WYLNTV35. Subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified every time there's a new show available online.
Hey guys, it's Ray Merrill from Blaze Alexander Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram. When you go to a restaurant, would you go to one that only has one item on the menu? No. Look at the selection. We are overloaded with Jeeps. Whether if you want a Jeep Grand Cherokee, a Jeep Renegade, Dodge Charger, Dodge Challenger, Ram trucks, we got it all. With all this inventory, why would you bother going anywhere else? Come on down and see the huge selection at Blaze Alexander Greater Hazleton, or jump online at blazealexander.com and see where we take those deals the other guys won't.
Caitlyn Jenner filed paperwork this week to run for governor in her campaign to get California moving in the right direction. Jenner's called California her home for nearly 50 years and believes that Sacramento needs an honest leader with a clear vision, stating that the glimmer of the Golden State's been reduced by one-party rule for the past decade, placing politics over progress and special interests over people. Her campaign will be empowered by everyday Californians who deserve leadership that's accountable to them, not the special interests in Sacramento. Jenner's been a lifelong compassionate disruptor, from representing the U.S. and winning a gold medal at the Olympics to helping advance the movement for equality. Visit CaitlinJenner.com to follow her campaign, as more updates will be officially announced in the coming weeks. If you're looking for something fun to do this weekend, then there's great news. Knoebels in Elysburg is open for business. The amusement park is scheduled to be open from noon until 6 p.m. both Saturday and Sunday. The hand-stamped team will be ready to welcome visitors at 11 a.m., and the park's still selling BOGO passes, as well as ride tickets. Visit Knoebels' website for more information or stay on top of the park's activities by following them on Facebook. If you've been thinking about adopting a pet, well, there's no time like the present. So, check out the SPCA of Luzerne County for all breeds, shapes, and sizes of pets. The shelter has some more furry friends for you to check out this week. Everyone, meet Ginger. She's a 2-year-old pit bull and husky mix. She came in as a very loving stray, but needs to go to a home that'll be able to keep up with all of her energy. And up next is Louise. She's a pretty orange and white kitty who loves attention, pets, and chin scratches. She doesn't mind being around other cats and dogs and would love to find her forever home. Call 570-825-4111 to come on down and check out these featured pets and more while the shelter continues adopting out new best friends amid the pandemic. WILN's all-time OT hero, Marty Burns, was drafted to the news for the in-depth analysis of what's happening on and off-season across our viewing area. This week, he's chatting with Mahanoy area's athletic director and girls basketball coach, Eric Mouchron. So, let's talk sports. Here's part 5.
Mart's Hall in Pottsville is one of those cathedrals that you walk into, you could just feel the history coming out of that gymnasium, whether it's Schuylkill League, whether it's state playoffs, whether it's just Pottsville basketball. Mm-hmm. But to go there for the Schuylkill League playoffs, you know, with everything that had gone on, to get there for the Schuylkill League playoffs, talk about that kind of accomplishment for your team.
I mean, and Mart's Hall as a whole, like you said, there's nothing like it. I never had the opportunity to play there. So I want my players every year to have the opportunity to gain the opportunities that I never had. I really stress to the girls, enjoy it, soak it all in, but it was almost like a Hoosiers moment. The rims are still 10 feet. Right, we still got to roll the ball out and play.
Right.
But Mart's Hall, Schuylkill League playoffs, it's what you dream of. It's what you dream of, especially on a typical year when they pack the gym. We've had the luxury of winning the Schuylkill League, being in the Schuylkill League championship. There's nothing like the Schuylkill League playoffs at Mart's Hall.
And then you get to play at home for a District 11 playoff game, and then you come back to Mart's Hall.
Right.
Minersville, to come away with the District 11 championship, and then to do it at Mart's Hall. And once again, you know, everything that's gone through, and you know, you didn't get what you wanted in the Schuylkill League playoffs, but you get a district championship at Mart's Hall.
And the Schuylkill League playoffs were huge for us in a sense that we got to play on the court, we got a feel for it. Minersville did as well. They played in the game right after us, but it's an experience that you have to get used to, running the court, shooting in that gym, the depth perception. There's a lot of things that you need to get accustomed to at Mart's Hall. Our girls, you could see from the tip-off in the district championship game, there wasn't that adjustment period. Like they came ready to go, they came out ready to play. It was just a fun, emotional game. I mean, I know we won by the margin we did, but just to think back of what happened at the end of last season, to the shutdown, the restrictions that were put in place, to be able to come away with that district championship, it was just such a rush of emotions.
Be sure to check out this week's entire half hour of Let's Talk Sports, Saturday at 2 and 8:30 p.m., and again Sunday at noon and 5:30 p.m. Coming up on Lime Ridge News Choice, your week in review courtesy of our Julia Wiegand. Plus, leading the way into this week's final segment with Sandy Kirshner. Stay with us.
Hey, Dr. Alex here with another Feel Good Friday. So today we're talking about walking, why it's so good for you. First, it's great for bone density. Doctors will prescribe or encourage supplements like phosphorus, calcium, vitamin D3, and maybe hormone replacement for estrogen if you're postmenopausal. But the best thing for bone density is just walking around. Those little micro traumas, every time you take a step, it shakes your bones. That gets them stronger, encourages growth. It also lets your bones know where there's weak spots that needs to be worked on or taken care of. Also, it's great for your joints. It reminds your brain where every joint is in your body and how it's doing. Also, it prevents degeneration by doing that, like down the road. Next, it's a crucial part of blue zones. That's areas where people live over 100, and it's a crucial part of why they do live over 100. With that in mind, feel good.
If you're looking for an affordable pre-owned car or truck, Chura's Auto Sales has a great lineup of clean, dependable, and quality vehicles. Stop in 610 North Broad Street, West Hazelton, 570-454-7229.
Hi, I'm Marty Burns, host of a new show here on Wyln, Let's Talk Sports. We're going to talk between our basketball and football seasons. We're going to talk to coaches, guests about past seasons, events coming up, different types of things sports related. It's all going to be here on Let's Talk Sports, and you'll be able to see it here on Wyln.
Membership opportunities are now available at the Valley Country Club, 79 Country Club Lane in Sugarloaf. Clubhouse upgrades are in progress and will be ready for the spring. Call Frank Radis for details at 570-233-5328.
There's no better place to shoot than Whitetail Preserve. Their skeet trap and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicapped accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-455-4251 extension 1378 for more information.
From the bottom of our hearts, the WYLN TV 35 family would like to say thank you to all essential workers for your service to our community and for keeping us safe.
Monday. 2 people were taken into custody following a traffic stop last Friday night in Berwick. Police pulled over a 2003 Volkswagen Jetta in the area of North Mulberry and West 9th Streets, where it was determined that the driver, identified as 33-year-old Stephen Potter, was wanted on multiple felony warrants. His passenger, 30-year-old Carrie Edwards, jumped into the driver's seat when Potter exited the vehicle and proceeded to wrestle with the officer. The officer's foot got stuck inside the vehicle as Edwards began to drive away, which ended with him sustaining contusions to his left knee and a sprained ankle as Potter pushed him from the vehicle. Police later found and arrested Edwards on Jackson Street, and Potter, who hid under a bed at a home on Cemetery Street. The duo is currently locked up at Columbia County Prison after being charged with aggravated assault, while Potter faces additional charges of resisting arrest and flight to avoid apprehension. Tuesday. The jury reached their verdict just after 5 p.m. Tuesday and found Derek Chauvin guilty on all 3 counts. The former Minneapolis police officer was convicted of second and third-degree murder and second-degree manslaughter in the May 25, 2020 death of George Floyd. The 5 male and 7 female jurors heard closing arguments before deliberating for nearly 4 hours Monday and continuing into most of Tuesday. In Minnesota, Second-degree unintentional murder carries a maximum 40-year sentence, 25 years for third-degree murder, and 10 years for second-degree manslaughter. Chauvin set to be sentenced within the next 8 weeks. Wednesday. 30-year-old William Morse IV pled guilty to third-degree murder and obtaining proceeds from an illegal activity Tuesday in the death of his multimillionaire father back in 2018, sparing him a first-degree murder conviction's mandatory life without parole. The disappearance of William Morse III started as a June 2018 missing persons case. Morse originally told police that his father got into a dark van and never returned, but began draining funds out of his father's family trust, estimated at $7 million, along with his 10 acres of land in Hazleton and his 7-acre property in Sugarloaf Township. Police discovered that Morse researched a murder conviction without a body and getting away with murder online before bludgeoning his father to death on the patio of his Sugarloaf Township home. He proceeded to dismember and burn his father's body in a burn container on the property, garbage bagged the remains, and put them out for trash collection in Cunningham Borough, the city of Hazleton, and Sugarloaf Township. Morse also signed a handwritten confession that was found in the woods near the home and was arrested in November of 2019. Luzerne County Judge Michael Vo ordered Morse to spend 30 to 60 years behind state prison bars. Morse, however, showed no emotion in the courtroom and declined his opportunity to address the judge or his father's family. Thursday. Following Tuesday's historic guilty verdict, legislation was introduced Wednesday calling for police reform in Pennsylvania. House Bill 870 would prohibit officers from using the standard chokehold and outlaw the same restraint used to submit George Floyd. If passed, the bill would also ban the use of any maneuvers that inhibit breathing or the flow of blood to the brain. Governor Tom Wolf signed a police reform bill last year calling for more training and better background checks. But activists still say there's more to be done. Friday. A special handicap-accessible piece of equipment was stolen from a Hazleton City playground earlier this week. A streets department crew discovered that a wheelchair swing platform was taken from Alt Miller Playground while they were getting the park season ready. It took the Hazleton Lions Club 2 years to raise funds for the Alt Miller swing before having it installed back in September of 2017. Mayor Jeff Gassat believes the swing may have been stolen to be sold for scrap, and at this point doesn't know where the city can get the funds to replace it. That's it for your week in review, here on Wyln News.
All Care Home Care, providing quality in home care since 1986. Call and see how their team of licensed physical therapists, skilled nurses, speech, and occupational therapists can provide you with exceptional service in the comfort of your own home. They also offer dietitian, home health aide, and medical social worker services. You have a choice in your health care. For safe, friendly, qualified care, call All Care Home Care today and let their team begin taking care of you and your loved ones.
At Grand Central, our family has been supplying your family with quality brand name furniture, mattresses, and appliances for over 3 generations. Whether you choose from our excellent selection of Lazy Boy, Catnapper, or England furniture, or from our fantastic selection of Sealy and Stearns & Foster mattresses, we guarantee total comfort in every room of your home.
With expert advice,
everyday low prices,
plus interest-free financing for up to 60 months.
From our family to your family.
Grand Central in Hazleton. Everything to make your house a home.
Do you like craft beer? Do you want to learn the right way to sample wine? How about checking out a restaurant with a unique flavor or a crazy food challenge? These are just some of the things we are featuring on Wine, Hops, and Road Stops. So, spend some time learning about great wine, great beer, and great food on Wyln TV 35.
PPW Nation, get ready for the best of PPW Season 2. Join Paul Bowe, E. Julius Kuiper, Alexander Bravado, Tom Mitchell, and Alex Watt as we take you down memory lane and relive some of the best PPW matches of all time. Saturdays at 5 p.m., Sundays at 10 p.m., only on WYLN.
WYLN CA35's children's programming is designed with the specific purpose of serving the educational and informational needs of children. In compliance with FCC guidelines, a copy of the children's programming report is on file for public inspection at WYLN 1057 East 10th Street in Hazleton, Pennsylvania during normal business hours. To view the report online, visit fcc.org.
WYLN's going behind the scenes to learn more about the lives and goals of our local leaders. So, Sandy Kirshner's leading the way into Autism Acceptance Month to wrap up this week's series. And welcome back, folks, to this week's segment of Leading the Way with Sandy Kirshner. So, looking towards the future, what's ahead? I know we had just previously discussed just something upcoming and how you're hoping to connect with businesses. Mm-hmm. Can we talk maybe a little bit more about that, or any other future projects you guys are looking forward to?
Sure. Actually, we have a really exciting initiative coming up. When people talk about the autism community, talk about autistic individuals, a lot of people think about children. But children grow up, and there is a huge number of adults in our community that because of changes in the way autism is diagnosed, identified, have not been previously received the correct diagnosis. And getting a full, thorough evaluation for autism as an adult is very difficult. So that is one of the ways that we're trying to give back to the community, is opening as part of our hub, but then also as part of our parent organization, Children's Service Center, to do an adult testing clinic, evaluation clinic.
Wow.
So adults who may have had a previous mental health history, feel like they meet the autism, the diagnostic criteria for autism, can come in and get a full battery and really look and see if that's a diagnosis that fits, because having the right information about how you interact with the world just improves mental health and outcomes for everyone all around. So it's definitely something that we're very excited to be offering.
Absolutely. And just kind of last moment, if anybody's interested in visiting ACE, you're at 20 Laurel Street?
We are at 20 North Laurel Street, Suite 2E.
Okay.
And our phone number, which is probably the easiest way to get in touch with us, is 570-861-8311.
All right, perfect. All right, folks, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us this week, and an even bigger thank you to Sandy for joining us. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Folks, always grateful for you guys joining us. Have a great weekend. Best of luck, best of life. Good night. And that's the news. Remember, the source matters now more than ever. Catch all the latest on our Facebook page or at WYLNTV.com, where you can also find LVHN's real facts about COVID-19. Stay with us. A look at today's weather is next, right here on WYLN TV.